Welcome to this week's episode of Fuel. I'm Ian Gordon along with Nick Miles and Dennis Pitzenbarger. Nick, what's on this week's show?
On this week's show, we're taking a look at performance vehicles, the Porsche Cayman S, along with BMW's Z4M Coupe. And then we're going to visit with the guys from 4 Locked Films in our In the Pit segment.
And it all starts right now.
Let's turn to our first behind the wheel. It's the Porsche Cayman S. Now, this is a car company that's been around since 1948. They won the Le Mans 16 times and turned themselves around from a major money loser into a major money maker. In fact, they've quadrupled their unit sales in just under the last decade. The interior of this car can be really finely put together. You can choose any single leather trim for any single portion of the interior of the car. Here's Dennis and Ian with a first look at the 2007 Porsche Cayman S.
The first category for the Porsche Cayman S is Q Factor. It's the gadget or tech score, and this is a traditional Porsche, but it's got heated seats, a great nav system, plus it's got race-bred ceramic brakes to help with stopping.
And one other thing.
The PASM.
PASM, Porsche's active suspension management system. Now what this does is it actually lowers the car and resets the entire calibration for the suspension system. And in doing this, you can really be almost selective or really particular about the way that you want the car to handle. It will lower the car's ride height, as I said, and really firm up the suspension and make it handle as if it's that race car you've always wanted. Now, if you turn that off and just run in the normal mode, you can get up driveways and whatnot. Be careful about that PASM. You don't want to scrape off the front chin spoiler on this thing.
It's also got a Sport Chrono package, which adds a whole new remapping to the throttle system. So that's a nice added feature for the Porsche this year.
Absolutely. Now, how are we going to score it, Ian?
I'd say high. I mean, it's got all the features that you'd expect out of a performance car, but it's also got bells and whistles. 4.25 for Q Factor. Next up is curb appeal for the Porsche Cayman S, and this car really harkens back to the vintage Porsches of yesteryear.
Well, yeah, we can kind of get into maybe one side of the fence or the other on this one. Now, if you take the classic Porsche lover, they know the shape, they know the design, and they know it has that kind of classic sense and look to it. For me, you can call it a Cayman S all you want. To me, it looks like an original 911. Now, it kind of gets into that argument where the traditionalists might like it a little bit more than a 911, but with the new 911's body style, all the little cues from the 911, it just looks like a smaller version of that. And believe me, that's no bad thing.
Not at all. It's beautiful on the street, moving, or just sitting there. 4.5 for curb appeal for the Porsche Cayman S. Now to the category that this car is built around, performance, and power is provided by a 3.4-liter flat 6. It's got a 6-speed manual that we had in our test car, but it's also got the optional Tiptronic S.
And sure, we could talk about the fact that it has 295 horsepower, 251 pounds-feet of torque. You got 0 to 60 times in a tick under 5 seconds, 13.2 in the quarter, and if you really want to test it, 171 miles an hour top speed. People ask me, why would you want a car that goes that fast? Because it goes that fast. And more importantly, it's about the way it drives. I mean, there is something that is pure about the way a Porsche Cayman drives, or more importantly, just the way a Porsche drives. They know how to bring the feel, the energy, and the excitement to an automobile. There's no lift throttle oversteer scare of the old Porsche turbos in the mid-'80s. They have it so well dialed in, and it has a mystique about it, and it comes through when you're in the driver's seat. It makes the hair on your arm stand up. It makes you just feel excited, and it makes you want to drive.
Yeah, and it's got the traditional sound that you'd expect from a Porsche, plus the tremendous balance that you get from a mid-engine car. So 4.25 for performance for the Porsche Cayman S. Now on to fit and finish for the Porsche Cayman S, and traditionally this isn't a category you would think Porsche would score well. I mean, they've got the tremendous road noise and all that, but over the last 10 years they've quadrupled sales, so they're obviously working on this area. One of the cool features this year is that you can order the leather trim a la carte, so you can get leather on virtually any piece of the interior, including the steering column.
I'm thinking that's going to work out like one of those bad 8-ball jackets from the 80s. Maybe I can get like one red leather visor, one blue leather visor.
Yeah, like that patchwork coat from the 70s, too.
Oh, gosh, let's not. Please, nobody that wants this car, don't do it to it. Don't do it. But, you know, you have to look at build quality in this vehicle. You look at the little fit and finish items, like the way that the leather is stitched together. The whole entire car is put together so well. There is still that hand-built mystique about Porsche, BMW, all these high-end performance items. It all comes together. Now, one of the things that I do have to say is they use aluminum so well. There's just enough to make it look as if it's an airline cockpit, but not so much that it's being ostentatious. You know, it's just a nice blend. And for me, when you get inside this type of vehicle, you want it to feel as if you're above other automobiles, and they deliver that in spades.
Absolutely. Fit and finish, and him using the word ostentatious in this segment, 4.5. Finally, drivability for the Porsche Cayman S, and this car just provides a wonderful driving experience and is one of the few cars that's stable at triple-digit speeds.
And that's one of the things that makes it so difficult to judge this car in drivability. You know, when you look at the Porsche Cayman S, you have tremendous performance, incredible fit and finish. Everything about the car makes you want to love it, but one thing, getting in and out of it every day, going to work in it. Now, we have a couple friends that said, we don't care, I drive it every day. I don't care if I can't get in it. I don't care if I have to get in and out of a tiny little car just to go to the 7-Eleven. And I understand what they're saying. If you're a lover of the word Porsche, you love the automobiles and you love the aura that comes with it. Now, for me, that's what's going to knock the score down a little bit. If you have to be in the car constantly, get in and out of it, it's a little tough to live with on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. Because of that, I mean, you can't knock all of the rest of the things, but because of its daily usefulness, we give the score 3.75 for drivability.
Let's see how Dennis and Ian scored the 2007 Porsche Cayman S. A close to perfect score on Q Factor, giving it a 4.25. Again, a high score on curb appeal with a 4.5. As expected, another great score in performance at 4.25. And fit and finish, yes, you guessed it, also almost perfect at 4.5. Finally, its only big loss is in drivability with a 3.5. The 2007 Porsche Cayman S got 21 out of a possible 25. Still to come, our second behind the wheel, our in the pits, and when fuel returns, we'll have news.